News at 8 in high definition.
Good morning, everybody, on a Thursday morning. I'm Redrick Terry.
And I'm Alexandria Ikomoni. Thanks for watching Fox 18 News at 8. Another delay coming for the demolition of the old Rock Island County Courthouse. Confusion over permits is keeping the building standing until further notice. It's this morning's top story.
A city official says they aren't sure who needs to approve the paperwork. Before, it was thought the city had to issue a permit. Rock Island City Manager Randy Tweet says he's hearing about a state law that says it's actually up to the county. Until that's cleared up, the courthouse can't come down. If it is up to the city, there's another form that could cause a delay, and that is a stormwater permit from the EPA. Tweet says they first found out it was a requirement back in December. He says the county still has not applied for a permit, but if they do, that paperwork would have to be included.
Our only role up to this point has been to issue the demolition permit. If we receive some information that says that the county can issue their own demolition permit and the city does not need to be involved in that process, and we would step away and would not be part of the process whatsoever. We have a good working relationship with the county. You know, I talk to the administrator all the time, the board chair. I mean, the city and the county have a great working relationship.
Tweet says he's hoping to see any documentation about the state law in the next couple days. The city attorney would have to review it. The man accused of killing a deputy from McHenry County, Illinois, says he's not guilty. 39-year-old Floyd Brown entered that plea yesterday in regard to the federal charges he faces. His family and several law enforcement officers packed the courtroom. Brown appeared in a wheelchair, recovering from his injuries from when he tried to get away from police earlier this month. Authorities say Brown shot Deputy Jacob Keltner at a Rockford hotel. Prosecutors say Brown opened fire inside the room and injured a woman he was with at the time, then escaped by jumping from a third-story window before shooting Keltner in the parking lot. Prosecutors say he should get the death penalty if convicted.
Day 3 of the Latrice Lacey trial wrapped up yesterday. Jury got to see video of the incident that's at the center of arguments. They also heard from Lacey herself. The jury heard from several witnesses, but it was the last one that caught everyone's attention. Lacey took the stand saying the man accusing her of abuse was the aggressive one. Lacey could be seen wiping tears from her eyes as her teenage daughter testified. She says Lacey's ex-boyfriend put his hands around her mother's neck. From the beginning, the state has argued this is about the fight that happened on April 30th, but the defense argued the incident caught on video was the result of months of abuse.
I told him that if he didn't leave, he was going to be leaving involuntarily because I was going to call the police.
And how did he respond to that?
He said, I should kill you. I should push you down the stairs. I'm standing on the edge of this step, and he's like pushing my body back like he's strangling me, though, as I'm standing on the edge of a step.
The trial will continue this morning, starting with Lacey taking the stand once again.
Some shelters in the Quad Cities are getting some large grants to help the homeless, but one shelter tells us it is less than what they wanted. Humility of Mary Shelter got more than $230,000. Housing First received more than $200,000. Muscatine Center for Social Action got more than $185,000, and the YWCA in Clinton received nearly $80,000 for rapid rehousing there. It all comes from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Humility of Mary Shelter tells Fox 18 News this is an annual grant, and they actually receive less money than they applied for this year.
Several bridges in central and western Iowa have been impacted by ice jams and major flooding in the past week.
Yeah, the financial impact of replacing the destroyed bridges can be big. The Trestle Trail Bridge in Johnston was completely knocked down by an ice jam. Polk County will be working with the city of Johnston, Des Moines, and the governor's office to get the money to replace it.
When you look at it right now, you'll see that it's old wood pilings and very close together. That doesn't help, not just with ice flows, but with trees and things like that that come down during floodwaters. We'll probably be looking at some type of a large concrete piling in the future, and we'll also be doing some shoreline work too to protect the bridge going into the future.
The estimate for a new bridge is $1.5 million.
Western Iowa is still dealing with some of the worst flooding they've seen. Take a look at some of these images of Interstate 29. The video comes from the Iowa State Patrol in the Council Bluffs area. The trooper was driving north on southbound lanes where you can see water covering the highway.
Crazy video there. Switching gears now, a Chinese multi-millionaire spends a fortune on a bird. Pigeon racing has become increasingly popular in China. The buyer bid more than $1.4 million for this prized first Belgian racing pigeon named Armando. Armando is considered to be the best long-distance racing pigeon of all time. The price spike came in the final hours of bidding as two people kept one-upping each other. Armando is the most expensive bird ever to be sold at auction by a huge margin.
Wow.
I would bet so.
How much?
1.4 more than $1.4 million
For a pigeon.
for a pigeon, a quote-unquote racing pigeon.
Pigeon, I guess. That's just, is that necessary?
I would love to see a pigeon race. Now that I
Yes.
think about it, racing pigeon. I've never seen a pigeon race before.
Me either. And for sure, they can just fly away too. I really got to understand the whole concept because they can just go on their happy lives, and you lost more than $1.4 million.
Just like that, on a pigeon. Ash couldn't imagine it.
Well, plot twist, the racing's actually they're walking.
Ah.
You know,
I'm
that
just
would be
kidding. I
pretty
don't know.
entertaining.
I don't know.
Yeah, it would be
I'm not going to tell you.
entertaining.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Let's get distracted by some breadcrumbs. All right, out the door here today. Temperature is sitting at 37. The traffic's moving along fine as well. As we get into the afternoon, it's going to feel really, really comfortable outside. 40 degrees right now. Feels like 34 though because of some northwesterly winds. That's always going to make things feel a little bit cooler for us. But I think we should have enough sunshine to kind of counteract that here today. That's really going to be very nice for us here. As temperatures right now in the mid and upper 30s with sunshine on the way for us. Starting to really feel like spring here, folks, and I think it's going to feel that way over the next few days. Been seeing a lot of birds outside myself. One of them actually pooped on my shoulder the other day, so I'm not sure if I'm done with spring yet or not. But,
No,
yeah.
I'm upset.
Are you serious?
Just a little bit. It was just a little bit,
Oh, knock on
Yeah.
wood. That has not happened to me, and I don't know how I would react to that.
At least it wasn't my head.
That is the good news. I will say here at the station, here at Fox 18, we have our big transmitter, our tower out back, and it's always been one of those where you see the birds coming from far, and you just hope that that's not the worst day in the world when you just get
Yeah, I
splatted
get it.
on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's, all right. Need some
Happy spring.
Need some
Happy
bird
spring.
control in here.
Oh,
I
for
think we just saw
sure,
one coming across the screen. All right, coming up, our pet of the week brings a lot of squeak.